All right. Welcome to another live stream, Question Everything. You're not supposed to be here. And what I mean by that, we're touching on the T in the greater framework in the book, From Leader to Greater, how anyone can level up from where they are. And the T stands for transitioning with purpose. And if you feel stuck, it's because you're ignoring this one sign. So most people don't realize when it's time to move on until it's too late. And the noise cancellation on these headphones is driving me nuts. There we go. I can hear myself think now. So they stay in jobs they've outgrown. They hold on to relationships that don't serve them. They fight for situations that are no longer meant for them. They hold on to people, places, and things that just are not meant for them anymore. And because of that, they stay stuck for years in a life they should have left behind. And the T in the greater is just, what is my purpose? And when is it time to transition to follow my purpose so that I can continue on the path that I was meant for? Like, most people are optimizing things that don't need to exist, myself included. There's things that I need to let go of. The season, the reason, it is past. It's not always a lifetime. So I want to show you how to recognize it's time to transition before it costs you everything. And I don't have my whiteboard with me, so you're going to have to use your imagination. I'm like 80 miles away from home or something right now. So the first sign that it's time to go or it's time to transition is you're uncomfortable, but you're not growing. I'll say that again. You're uncomfortable, but you're not growing. And what I mean by that is, it's uncomfortable to grow. It's uncomfortable to be in a place you don't need to be in. And there's going to be discomfort no matter what. But if you're going to be uncomfortable, you might as well be in a position where that's actually serving you. So, for example, if I go to the gym, I am uncomfortable when my muscles are being broken down. That's a good comfort because growth comes from that. But if I'm uncomfortable because I'm in a situation that isn't serving me, I have no business being in, and I'm just uncomfortable, it might be time to move on. If there's no gain from that, it's time to move on. The second sign that it's time to go is you're more drained than inspired. If where you're going or what you're doing isn't edifying you, if it's not building you up, if it's not building others up, it may be time to leave. You may be in a relationship, you may be in a job, you may be in a situation that you've put yourself in, and it's just not the best situation anymore. And it's starting to drain you. And you know that it's time to leave, but it's scary. I just want to encourage you, take the leap. Like, get out of that situation and see what's on the other side. Because again, there's pain in growth and there's pain in staying the same, but you just have to pick that pain that's worth suffering for. And then the third red flag or sign that it's time to go is that you keep justifying why you should stay. And like, we justify and rationalize because it's more comfortable to stay where we are, what's familiar, right? I was in a couple relationships in my life. I think we've all done this, where we're in that relationship and it's like we're squinting our eyes and we're trying to justify and rationalize like why it's okay. Like, yeah, this is horrible, this is bad, I know there's a lot of red flags, but they do this one thing, or they have hope, or this job, there's a lot of money to be made here. Yeah. So uncomfortable but not growing, more drained than inspired, and you keep justifying why you should stay. These are red flags that most people are ignoring. They convince themselves it's not all that bad. I'll just give it a little more time, or maybe it'll get better. Chances are, um, and someone told me this a while back. It was, seldom does a leopard change its spots. So typically, something, if you can't accept that something being the way it is, if nothing ever changed, if you can't accept that that's how it'll be, and this was pertaining to a relationship, if that person never changed, would you still be okay with that person? And if the answer is no, go. And I may even say, like, if you're in a relationship and you're not thinking long term, like, why would you? And I'm asking this. I had to ask myself this. Why would you even waste your time if it's not going to be something long term? Um, and then there's this thing called investment in the hooked model that keeps us hooked on products and services. There is this part of the model that's called investments, and the more time that you spend, or like, the more you invest in something, that sunken cost fallacy starts to appear. Where, oh, I've already like put so much time in here, or to put so much effort in it, it's harder to leave. That's why it's harder to just get rid of, for some people, to get rid of Facebook, Instagram, all of those, because you've invested a lot of posts, a lot of pictures, a lot of memories are there, so you won't leave. That's the investment part. I think the hooked model is trigger, action, variable reward, and investment. So the trigger is what makes you think about opening the app. The action is opening the app. The investment is posting pictures, photos, memories, all of those things. And then the variable reward is you never know when the next thing in your feed is going to be the thing you've wanted. That's another story for another day. Um, so there's an old story about a frog in a pot of water. If you drop a frog into boiling water, it will jump out immediately. But if you put it in room temperature water and slowly heat it up, the frog will stay until it boils to death. And this is exactly how people stay trapped in the wrong situation for years. They don't leave because the pain builds up slowly. It's undetectable. It's not even noticeable. And then they wake up 5 years later, miserable, wondering, how did I get here? The lesson is, if something isn't serving you, leave before it destroys you. And I know it's easier said than done. It's easier said than done. But if it's time to move on, and you are hearing this, and it's touching you right there in your soul, I want you to really like think, what would my life be like if I just took the leap and got out of this situation? What would it be like on the other end? What are the possibilities? What am I missing out on by staying? What am I really getting? Like, really do the deep thinking on this, because I think we so many times think, what's the worst that can happen? And then that's the only thing that comes to mind. But I want you to reframe that and think, what's the best that can happen? What good can come out of me jumping from this pot of boiling water? It may not be boiling yet. It may just be heating up a little at a time. But what'll happen if I jump? So I want you to imagine with me, since I don't have my whiteboard. We've got growth over here. We've got stagnation over here. Oh, that's perfect. Growth in a suit, stagnation with the rag and the chain. I guess I'm in stagnation because I kind of look like him right now. So on the left, well, on this side, you've got comfort leads to stagnation, leads to regret. You get to the end of your life, you lived a life of comfort, you were stagnant, you didn't move, you didn't do anything, and you get to the end of your life and you regret not moving, not trying something new, not doing something different. And then on the right, it's like you choose the discomfort up front, and the growth happens, and then you get the success. Let's weigh those scales. Do you want comfort up front and regret on the back end, or do you want discomfort up front and success on the back end? Growth never happens in comfort zones. The comfort zone is where dreams go to die. So if you are comfortable, there's not a tendency. There's a high probability that if you are comfortable right now, you are not growing. And if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. It's that simple. If you're not growing, you're falling behind because there is no coasting. Let's be real. You don't coast in life. There is no staying still. You're either going forward or you're moving backwards. It's all uphill. And when you stop trying to go uphill, you slide backwards. And if you stay stuck for too long, you'll regret it. And let me just say this, you don't have to feel ready to move. You'll never feel ready to move. As a matter of fact, you just have to move. You just have to leap. So, as everyone probably knows by now, I once worked a job that was paying me really well. Great salary, great benefits, good security. Um, it, there's no true security in a job these days. That world that we were living in, where you worked, you went to school, you got your degree, you worked 40 years, and you retired. That's not the world we live in, unless you create it. But that no one's going to do that for you. You were all replaceable. So um, I had that, but I was miserable because it wasn't my calling. It wasn't my purpose. I felt drained every day. Great people, but the work didn't feel fulfilling to me. And I knew I had outgrown it, but I was afraid to leave because that paycheck every month felt nice. It felt safe. And, for me, when when God wants me to leave, he will make me very uncomfortable. I will feel it in my spirit that it's time to jump. And I know at that point, when I start feeling that, I'm either going to have to jump or he's going to push me out the window and show me that I have wings on the way down. And it's just a choice of which one it's going to be. And I've been pushed out the window so many times that this time I had to ask myself, if I stay here another year, will I be happy? Like, will I be happy or will it drain me of the very last bit of energy I have to make any kind of change? And the answer was no. I couldn't make it another year. I couldn't even make it another couple weeks. At some point, I just wasn't waking up for work anymore. And I tried again to get another job after that, but I was making half of what I was making. And just like, it makes it so hard to get up in the morning when you know you're called for more, but you're playing small because you're afraid to bet on yourself. And I've been afraid to bet on myself. But the reason I'm showing up for you live every Tuesday at 5, the reason I'm pushing beyond my comfort zone to write this book, to go out and speak, to build community of people that are heading towards their greater and not waiting anymore, is because I don't want to get to the end of my life and wonder what would have happened if I did. I want to get to the end of my life beaten, bruised, broken, and be like, yeah, I did that. I love the exhilaration. Now, that's not for everybody, but for those who it hits right here, you know who I'm talking to. You know I'm talking to you. So if I already knew that the answer was no, then why was I still there? Because let's be real, a steady paycheck feels good. Some sort of predictability feels good. But my wake up call was when I couldn't wake up in the morning and I couldn't force myself to pretend or do it anymore, or there was no way I could make myself do it. That was when I knew it was time to leave. And my life has changed forever. I I don't recognize my life. I don't know what's going to happen from day to day. And I kind of like it. My wife is freaking out right now, but I love the adrenaline rush. And if you really want to know what it's like to walk with God and have to trust him, depend on him, or depend on a power greater than yourself if you don't believe in God, right? Good orderly direction. It's an acronym for good orderly direction. If you really want to know what it's like to walk the faith walk, take the leap and lean into that trust. That trust. Look, Tiffany's laughing. So she's freaking out. It's not easy for her, but I'm on this joy. I'm on this roller coaster, and I'm loving it. It's, you never know what day to day is going to bring, and but I know it's going to be good. And that was going to be the original name for the book. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I know it's going to be good. Or I have no idea what I'm doing, and that's why it's working. It works. It does work because it's God. When God is in it, it works. So I'm going to ask you 3 questions that are going to let you know when it's time to go, or how to know when it's time to go. Question number 1. And I'm sorry, I don't have my whiteboard, so you're going to have to use your imagination and maybe write it down. Does this environment still challenge me? If you are not challenged to grow in your environment, if you are not challenged in any way, maybe time to go. Or, is there something you could is there a new challenge you could step up to? Or are they going to shove you down and say, go sit in your job and do or your desk and do your job, or go sit in your place that's beneath or below your pay grade or above your pay grade? So does it still challenge me? If it doesn't challenge you, maybe time to go. Do I feel more drained than I do excited? That's a huge one. If you get physically ill getting out of bed, thinking about going to work, or you get physically ill thinking about doing something, that's usually a pretty good sign that you shouldn't be doing it. And then here's the one. Picture yourself a year from now in the same exact position. If you were still here for another year, would you regret it? If you can answer no to the first or yes to the last 2, then you already know what you need to do. And the hardest part isn't leaving. It's admitting that it's time to go. It's like the 12 steps. The first step is admitting that there is a problem. You can't solve a problem that you don't acknowledge exists. So if you feel stuck, it's because you're staying in a place where you're meant to leave, and the signs are already there. You just have to stop ignoring them. Growth requires movement. The next level of your life requires letting go of the old one. I'll say that again. The next level of your life requires letting go of the old one. You have to let go of the old to take on the new. I know I'm probably mansplaining. You probably already know this, but there's someone out there that needs to hear this. And that's why I'm showing up, because I needed to hear this and no one told me. I had to find out through taking that leap. If you stay too long in the wrong place, you'll regret it. And you don't want to get to the end of your life and have regretted not living it. So the question I have for you is, what's one thing in your life that you've outgrown, or that it's time to move on from? And drop it in the comments. Someone else needs to see your courage, stepping up and being vulnerable. And I would just encourage you to do that, because the community needs you. And if you're ready to transition to your next level with clarity and confidence, you can grab a copy of From Waiter to Greater. The link is somewhere. I'll probably put it in the description after this, but you can find it on Amazon. You can DM me. You can set something up to where I can get it to you. And just remember, the life you were meant to live is waiting, but you have to make the move. Don't be a waiter. Let's move to greater. I think that's really all I have for you today. I don't want to deliver. I just want to take enough time to give exactly what is needed for the transformation. And since no one's commented or had any questions on this, if there's no questions, if there's no comments, then I'm just going to end the live here, and I'll see you next week at 5. Some updates before I go. The Greater Journey podcast, I'm working on batch recording some episodes. So I have a 30-minute episode for you every day. If you want to be on the show, you think you have, if you're an entrepreneur, a CEO, a solopreneur, someone who's had your own waiter to greater journey, I would love to interview you and find out what the messy middle between your moment of waiting, of the messy beginning to the success. I want to know what that messy middle is, so that we can communicate that to the people that need to hear that it's not all the highlight reel and all these things you see about business where, I just did this, and this, and I made $10 million sitting on the beach working 2 hours a day. That's not possible. that there's a lot of work that goes in at the ground level. And so if you know someone that has an amazing story, just please refer them to me. I need people on the podcast. So that's another thing. The Greater University will be starting up again. I'm going to give it about 2 weeks, where I walk you through how to apply these principles in your life from the book. And I think that's all the announcements I have right now. Oh, Exit Coin. Look it up and DM me. This is going to be the future of finance. And if you want to be a part of the next cryptocurrency um, at the ground level where you can become a crypto millionaire while the opportunity is still there, then let me know. It's incredible. I've seen lives being changed every day by it, and I bought in immediately when I found out about it. The offer's there. You can reach out if you have any questions about it. Thank you, baby. Keep moving no matter what. Great job. Thank you. Thank you. Love the support, guys. I couldn't do this without her. Seriously. I wouldn't be showing up consistently. I wouldn't be the man that I am today without my wife. So, and then there's a lot of support that goes into someone that moves with clarity and confidence and gets to greater. And that's what I want to offer for y'all is that same support, encouragement, love. Just a place to help you to grow to be your greater self. So be bold and courageous. Do everything that you do with passion. I promise you will have a life that you love. See you in the next video.